Hey, look, we back for we back for another one, man. And once again, mic check. Many conversations. I got my man Josh with me. I got my man Zach with me, and I got my man Doc with me. And look, we here to give another piece of perspective from us individually. And again, 4 different perspectives, 4 different men, 4 different upbringings, and 4 different theories and stories that we have, at least from our point of view, or some of the things that we just fully believe in. And look, we haven't missed yet, bro. I feel like each conversation has been pretty dope, pretty solid. And again, as I said in the last episode, we've been getting some good, solid feedback from the viewers, and we want to continue to get those things rolling in. So continue to drop questions, reach out. We'd love to continue to hear your feedback, and we'll go from there. But what this table means for me, just this for our first time watchers, our first time viewers, mic check is just a table for us men to be men, be transparent, be vulnerable, share our stories. We don't want to filter. We don't want to kind of hold anything away. When we got questions, we want to make sure that we provide those transparent answers and responses from our perspectives. So we're going to continue to do that. And now we're going to unfold into this new topic, which is going to be built to break, the pressure to be unbreakable. I'm going to pass it to my man Josh on this one to get us going.
All right, today's first question, guys, that we've got from our viewers. The question is, as men, it is within our nature to show up for our families and loved ones. Why is it so difficult for us to sometimes show up for ourselves?
Whoever asked this was on to something.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's tough.
I feel like it's 100% in our nature to show up for others, especially our families, right? But we keep, if we keep pouring into everyone else and never into ourselves, you'll wake up feeling empty one day. We tapped on emptiness in episode 7. So, and when you pour into someone else and you keep pouring into your wife, pouring into your kids, not saying neglect those individuals, but if you do not take the time for yourself, I think that one day, at some point along that idea of pouring into these individuals that you care about, you'll wake up full of resentment. And that's just how I feel. And I think once resentment sets in, you're trying to play catch up. And sometimes it's too late. Your cup has to have a bottom to it. And the saying is real when they say you can't pour from a cup that is empty. And I think at some point, you have to put yourself in a space of, yes, I have to provide. Yes, I got to show up for my partner. Yes, I got to show up for my kids. Yes, I got to show up for my team, as we all are leaders in our fields. But at what point does Doc say, I got to fill my own cup up, quench my own thirst before I pour into these individuals? Because then you're pouring from a space of what? Emptiness.
Yep, absolutely. I can piggyback off of that, man. Zach, I wholeheartedly agree with that. My supervisor at work, man, he always tell us a team, it's a group. It's myself and I have 2 other colleagues who are managers as well. They're both ladies, but he'll tell us, man, listen, team, put your oxygen mask on first. Put it on first, man, before you can, go out and do those things that you are uniquely placed to do, whatever that may be for you in your occupation. As men, for us, like Josh called out, whether it's in a space of providing, protecting family members, and spouse or partner, so forth and so on. Put your oxygen mask on first, man. That's the only way you'll be able to, fully function in a way to where it will all pay off after a while. I know that's easier said than done. Even with me saying that, it's easier said than done. There are times to where you're absolutely going to be on the back burner. I'm a put the mic up, you're going to be on the back burner, whoever is listening, because those other things hold precedence, and naturally you're going to put your feelings, emotion, wants, needs, to the wayside. But I'm just going to encourage you that even if that is the case, man, get what you need to get out of the situation as well. That's something that I'm personally working on. I'm so much of a giver to where it's just I'm just going to give so much of myself, so much of my time, my energy, my wisdom, whatever people need from me, a lot. And when I walk away from the situation, I'm just well, dang, I got stuff going on too. I didn't get what I needed out of that situation, or this person is inclined to help me in some capacity or something that I'm struggling with. I could have utilized that time to also get what I need out of that. But I'm so, like you called out, Josh, we're naturally grounded to show up and do those things, so where sometimes you neglect how you feel as well. So I will encourage, put your oxygen mask on first, and when you can't, make sure that you incorporate in some way, some shape, or some form in the process to get what you need out of the situation as well. Whether it's just like, yo, I just need God time, for me right now, I like to golf. Hey, whether it's me just kind of getting out of playing 9 holes, cool. I don't need to play 18. Just give me 2 hours. Give me 9. I'll take that. Whatever it is, incorporate that in there because it's so, so, so important, man. So I think it's a combination of, what myself and Zach has said thus far. We do that a lot to where naturally we are going to be on the wayside to where it's hard for us to show up because we don't have anything more to give. But as you're giving, be intentional about your giving, who you're giving to, the energy that you're putting forth as well to those individuals that you're giving to, because if you can't get something back from that person, not to say that you're leading with that, but if somebody can't pour your cup as well, then you're really going to be empty to the point where it's like, man, you're running on fumes, and that's not okay, man. We talked about it in the previous episodes. That's when that crash out happens for sure.
Yeah, I got a question on that, and I want to answer that question next too, in terms of like why is it difficult for us to sometimes show up for ourselves. But do you think it's possible that our cup could be empty, but some people's cup, in a sense, by us giving them energy, I ain't gonna say we're gonna pour into it from an empty cup, some of their cup overflows into ours.
I feel like we all know somebody that we talk to on a regular basis or a monthly basis that when it rains, it pours. It's like always something negative, nothing positive. I got this going on. I got that going on. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing positive. And the more you talk to that person, some of that stuff will spill into your cup.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm even thinking about it from a positive standpoint, though. I mean, I think the negative is definitely one, but like the positive standpoint, like, pouring into somebody else, can that pouring overflow into your cup in a sense? And I think, Zach, I know you was ready to jump in on that one.
I think, my mother, may she rest in peace. We're approaching a year of her not being here, Tanya Janice Green. She embodied being a gift that kept giving. She was a woman that she wasn't rich. She had everything that a lot of people wanted, in a sense, because she always poured into individuals, whether it was her own children. She was a foster parent of 5 children. She mothered her sister's children, her brother's children. Wow. Our home was a salvation for people to come and escape whatever reality they were in because of her. And as a child, I often struggled with, sometimes she gave so much that I felt not necessarily neglected, because she loved her children 100%. But there was times where I was selfish to think like, damn, why is she giving so much to other people? Not because I wanted for anything. It was because I saw how much she poured from her own cup, that I saw firsthand that it's nothing in there. And she got some positive out of that. She got something from that. She got her fuel from that. She was a person that needed, in my opinion, not necessarily to be needed, but it was just like she was put on this earth to be a vessel to give. Right. She was put on this earth for people to go and take from her, because sometimes some of us are blessed with discernment. Some of us are blessed with an abundance, and that abundance can be finances sometimes. That abundance can be knowledge. That abundance can be a wealth of things, and I think she had so much of it, Derek. And I think when you said that, it was like, yeah, you know what? From the first thought of me being able to determine what's right and wrong, or see things for what it really was, that is who my mother was.
Yeah.
That's
dope.
Appreciate you sharing that, bro.
Yeah, and I bring that up, man, because I think back on small examples, like, and I'm gonna tell you who I think do this very well. I think, and no offense to them whatsoever, because I think having some time to yourself is critical, and showing up for yourself, pouring you into your own cup is critical. But I think moms do a really good job with pouring into their own cups or giving themselves some time. And my example is going to be a stark difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Fair stuff.
Man, Father's Day, we be like, look, I just want to get my kids. I want to go to the park, but I'm taking them with me. We going out to eat. We going to do this for Father's Day. And then moms be like, on Mother's Day, we be like, yo, I want time. I don't want nobody around me. It's my day. And I'm like, bro, we need to, in a sense, it's like, we do need to be like that more. But I think of, just, I'm going to be honest, having my kids around me on Father's Day, and I don't know if it's because of like the outlook is how it is on Black fathers. Man, that's another thing. I think sometimes we chase that, and we already got it. Like, what's the use of me chasing that? I already know I'm a good dad in a sense, right?
For sure.
But I still look at that as like, let me fill my cup with having my kids around. Me seeing my kids laughing and joking, and for me, that's filling my cup in a sense. But also, it's so critical too to make sure that I show up for myself. And I think to answer your question, Josh, in terms of why do we find it difficult? One is because of that. I think it's the mindset of, and I don't even want to bring gender norms into it, but as a father, that's kind of how I pour to myself in a sense. But I do know that I need to step away, and I think for me to be the best version of me. And the way I can give them, and I mean that from my entire household, all four of them, including my wife, I need to go and do things for myself. I need to go and hit the gym. I need to go and take a drive sometimes in the choir with no radio. I do that a lot now. And you know, just be able to step away. And me doing that and me recharging. I know I just told y'all the other day about my birthday. My birthday, man, I took some time away and just went by myself, quiet, and I enjoy every second of it. And that was so needed, bro. It was a month ago, and I'm still recharged from that time of me being away for roughly 4 or 5 days. So, I do think it's difficult because we know, at least I look at it as like, while you make yourself happy, everybody can't be happy with that. And I think that our job is to make sure that we're plugging those gaps of everything that's a problem. We're fixers naturally, right? I think that if we see a problem, we're going to jump in, we're going to try to fix it. And I think being absent sometimes is something that turns to something that's broken. And I think it just could be mindset, you know, having an absent father. Like, bro, I ain't trying to be an absent father, bro. You're not an absent father. But in reality, I think we try to fix it, and we sometimes forget about the thing that like the fixer. I'm the tool guy.
Yeah,
I'm the one I need to take care of me and stop trying to fix everything and fix self. So
you're gonna get tools for Father's Day too.
Yeah, but D, I think you hit a great point though, D, man. Like, I think, you know, all of the brothers on this podcast, and I mean, I'm not pleased in no way. I'm not eliminating anyone's feelings. I think we're part of a 5% where we are providers. You know, we are in this top echelon where everyone that encounters us not necessarily depends on us or needs us, but they look to us sometimes for the answer. So it is paramount, fellas. It's paramount that we 100% put our happiness first. It's paramount that we 100% unpack, as Derek talked about, and it's one of the things that we all learn and want to do. It's Josh and Doc, all of you guys play golf except me. I'm going to get there one day. But it's paramount, man, that we put ourselves first from a selfless space of no malice.
Yeah.
So then in return, when it's time for that cup to be empty, you know, I'm charged up in a sense because I'm always ultimately putting myself in a space to plug my phone in, as we like to put it, or plug that computer in. You know what I mean? Because how often do it's like when you want to go and watch something or get on somewhere and it's dead, and you beat yourself up for not charging it up. And that in return comes to yourself, like when you're giving so much and now you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, damn, why am I feeling this way? Because brother, you ain't plug yourself up. Plug in with yourself, brother.
So that rolls into the next question. At this stage in life, do you feel comfortable with being vulnerable when you need help or show up to someone or needing somebody to show up for you?
Man, that's a good one. Doc, I feel like you was finna jump in. Go ahead, bro.
Jump in, bro. Absolutely. Before I answer that question, I just want to make mention and piggyback what you just said, Zach. I think that hits home for me because be intentional to our viewers. Be intentional about how you recharge.
Absolutely.
Don't go out there, man, and do something to where you're supposed to be recharging and you mess around and draining yourself dry, and then you coming back upset. You could, because the show don't stop. It's still gonna be people that needs you. It's still people that counting on you. And so I just want to make that point too, because I think what you said, man, was very profound. So thanks for that perspective.
Absolutely, bro. And being intentional, just never mind. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. I'll circle back.
I always look at it like, man, when you step away, I think you hit it on the head. When you step away, you coming back to chaos.
Yes.
So being intentional and being in that stepped away moment, bro, it's so critical.
Yes.
And like, just enjoy that relaxed time, bro, and then come back knowing that you finna step into that chaos, but you a whole different you.
Absolutely. That's really what I was trying to get at. But to your, which I think is also a great question, Josh. I think, man, I I definitely feel comfortable at this stage of my life now, and to be vulnerable. I have good brothers around me, man, to where I know one point in time. All right, let me back up. I think what we hit on was that like we are placed in situations to where people depend on us for different things, a variety of things. And I think sometimes being placed in that position of being a hero in a lot of situations, you feel like you can't verbalize when you're hurt or when you're wounded or when you need somebody to show up for you. Because how would that look if Superman was just like, yo, I can't save nobody today, dog. Like that
Right.
last fight I just had was crazy, dog. I need a rest today. You feel me? Let the cops handle it. Whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but sometimes we feel that way. Like today just ain't the day. Like I need
Right.
that time to where I can't be a hero to you. And it's I was about to curse and all that stuff, but it's a complex mentally, that we go through with that as brothers who are placed to that caliber because, we feel guilty, about that as
Yeah.
well. Or at least I do, to where I can't show up to people when I know I'm naturally in that position to do that or give because I feel like, you know, if that's my purpose on this earth, I think you spoke on that and resting in power to your mother, my brother. And I think like, that was so eloquently how you phrased that because I think a lot of people, are placed in that position where it's just like, yo, I feel like this is my purpose. Yes, it may look, from the outside looking in, it's just like, man, watch that person or watch this and that and da da da. But nah, man, like I gotta give, man, because I know that like when it's all said and done, man, I know, the Heavenly Father gonna be like, well done for me. And that's how I feel as well. So I don't look at it from a standpoint of, you're too accessible. And to some degree you have to set boundaries, right? Don't get me wrong. But I think the nature of this question, man, is profound in the sense of like you have to reach a point to where even in those roles you have somebody that you can be vulnerable with. Whether I know in previous episodes we talked about therapy, which is awesome to have and go through individually. If you have, if you're living with somebody 365 or whatever, I would hope that you could be vulnerable with that person as well.
Right.
And to take things to them when you are wounded and they have to step in and be Batman and you be Robin.
correct.
And I feel like at a stage of my life, at a stage of my marriage, as a stage of like, just my friendship and brotherhood, I do think that I have people around me to where I could be like, hey, look, dog, like I'm wounded in this capacity. I don't even need anything specifically. I just want you to know, man, so you can check in on me, dog. Or
Yeah.
I may not even go too much into detail because sometimes too, and I'll digress after this point. Sometimes too, man, when you are so close to certain individuals, you don't even really have to speak on certain things. Like
Right. They just know.
Fair.
they just know and they act upon it in a way to where they know how or what you need in certain capacities as well. So
Yeah.
I'll digress
Yeah.
on that point, but hopefully that helps anybody who's listening on that question.
I I think now I answer that question too. I think it just comes with age
Yeah,
and
yeah,
That's
time
what I would say
yeah,
too. Yep.
yeah.
and maturing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
When you're in your early 20s, you feel like you can conquer the world
Invincible, right?
So-
Yeah,
until you live life. You know what I'm saying? Until you see things and you go through things that you need to talk to somebody about. I'm saying if you don't want to talk to a therapist, that's fine. But you need to talk to somebody about it because, you can't hold all that stuff in. You have to unpack with somebody. And hopefully, to the listeners out there, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, fiance, whatever you got going on, hopefully you and that person are aligned to in a certain extent that you guys can talk. You can't unpack with that person because what is it for you to come home after you had a tremendous, hard, stressful day at work and you can't even talk to your partner?
Message.
Yeah. I think, man, sometimes it's about that temperature too. That temperature check.
Yeah,
I don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm all ears most days, but I think if somebody called me and you kind of pulse check or check the temperature of how Derek doing that day, how just literally just asking like, D, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro? And I think out of respect, it's always good to ask, yo, do you even got capacity to catch what I'm finna dish out? I think that's fair, right? And
Right.
but I think sometimes, man, you gotta check the temperature, and I think I do the same thing. In terms of just being vulnerable, I like to check the temperature of the room before I go and just share. So based on that temperature, I do feel good about being vulnerable and sharing some of the things that I have on my mind. But I usually tend to check the temperature first. I don't even know if that's a good thing or bad thing, right? Because I'm not gonna just pour out as soon as when I think I got the free time, in a sense. But I do feel comfortable within my household being vulnerable. Man, look, even calling my dad at times, I think it's a blessing that I used to got my dad in my life, right? And that's somebody that I kind of pour into. With the filter though, my dad don't need it. I don't think it's important. I think it's important more so to keep your dad as your dad. He's gonna be your advice. He's gonna help you get through things. He's gonna be a directional for you. I don't think your dad necessarily need the full details. And I know he gonna watch this, and I think he would only agree with me in the fact of saying, like, I don't need all the details. And my dad, he got this this analogy that he throws out. He's like, if you get a soda bottle and you shake that bottle up, that bottle is ready to open and burst. And he's like, no matter what, I've learned that people are just like the soda inside the bottle. More as I open up the top on that bottle will be ready to explode. So I'm gonna just let you twist your own top. Yeah. You can share what you want to share. Yeah. And know that I'm only listening to you. And from there, I'm settled. You gonna settle down after a while, but as long as you feel comfortable or loosening up that top, I'm here for you. So I know he's there, and that's so fire to hear, bro. I think my dad told me that when I was about 18 or 19 years old in undergrad. So I do feel comfortable, and I know I have an outlet in terms of who I can go to share some of this stuff with. And a lot of this stuff, man, he's actually been through, but not just him. I got brothers too. My twin brother's one, and some of my other brothers that I consider brothers they're not blood brothers, but I have a comfortable space, and not to mention my wife. I know she'll sit and listen, especially when I'm like, she can see it, she can kind of feel it. Speaking of checking the temperature, she can feel when I got something to say. So, and I will say, bro, it's so dope to know that you have that safe space, and even with your friend group, in a sense. So all in all, I think at this stage of my life, Josh, you hit it on the head. It takes time to get there, though. You ain't finna be doing this at the age of 18, 19, 20, maybe even not even 25. But it takes time.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You gotta live.
You
absolutely.
You absolutely have to live, and you got to have those experiences. I think, we ain't old guys, so let's not, before I listen to that, we ain't 72. Y'all ain't tapping into Morgan Freeman and them. But, I absolutely do feel comfortable now, to answer that question. But I think Josh or Doc, one of y'all hit on this, man. You got to be very mindful of who you accept that space from, though. Because not everyone is offering something genuine, dude. Some people are just waiting for the day that you fall off. That's why you got to be, you got to put yourself in a space to have the right people around you. And I think that's what we're doing right now. We all fraternity brothers. If you guys haven't picked up on that right now, we are brothers in a deeper sense. But having those right brothers around me, you might have differences with another fraternity brother, but you all believe in a common goal or the mission or the values of that organization. But having that right people around you that want to see you win, I think that's important when you are putting yourself in a space of being vulnerable. Because when you put yourself in a space of being vulnerable, and often as men, sometimes it comes back and bite us, and whether that's from our partner or from somebody that you thought that you can trust, and it puts you in this space of like, now I'm going to be caged up, dog. Like, I slipped up, or I told such and such this, and it got over here, and I felt like I had something with that person. But it's all about understanding that within the aspect of growing, and Josh said experience, sometimes you got to be vulnerable and realize who you got to take off the list. I can't talk to Buddy no more. I can't talk to her no more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And unfortunately, sometimes it might be a spouse for that moment, because sometimes your spouse might be going through something too. And Derek talked about capacity. So you might open up to your spouse in a space where they might not have been in the right mindset or headspace to even, take that or receive that. So now when you looking for some advice, they're like, I don't know either.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And we both just looking at each other.
Man, right.
I done found a good space now where I genuinely ask that question, in terms of like, especially when again, checking the temperature, especially when I can see that my wife had a long day, bro. This summer was hard on my wife, bro. All 3 kids at the crib. She here with them. And sometimes when I came home, she like, babe, how was your day? And she's asking. I mean, granted, I think we kind of made it a thing now that when I come in, she's like, how was your day? And I'm like, yo, you got, like, you good? Like, capacity, right? And one day she's like, she just was like, no. And I was like, I feel it. And then you know what? And I respect that. And I think that the biggest thing, Zach, you might have hit this one on the head too, in terms of like just getting to that space of knowing who you can check off the list. Sometimes your spouse can check you off the list in terms of like how you respond to them being vulnerable to you. So I think it's critical to be vulnerable, like to be able to be that space for other people too, in a sense. Like, granted, accept what you can accept. Don't just take everybody from taking on their stuff, because you need to get paid. You could be a therapist for doing that. But I think if your spouse is unpacking, sometimes your spouse unpacking just for you to listen, not to say shit on the way back, on the back end, or not to bring more problems into that situation that they're talking about. So that's heavy.
And I also feel like, like I said, I'm not married, but I've been in a few relationships, and it's almost like, as the man in a relationship, or speaking to the women out there listening, sometimes like when your spouse or your significant other is going through something, like you can just tell. You guys have been together and you guys are aligned. Like I feel as though sometimes you should feel that pressure. Or something that may be going on, you should already feel like you should already
absolutely
know, because y'all all together, y'all are as one. Especially Doc, Eric, Zach, you guys are married, and I aspire to be married one day. But I feel like you feel that energy. You already know what it is.
For sure. I know, we got some other questions to tackle, fellas, but I also just wanted to add in too, man, of like, as you're being vulnerable for our viewers, for us as well, as we're being vulnerable for whoever those confidants may be, man, don't be afraid, or don't like suppress your vulnerability because you're afraid of the challenge, or you're afraid of the follow-up questions that comes with that level of vulnerability. And the reason I say that is because sometimes as men, we're so driven of just like, wanting to provide, wanting to be the fixer, wanting to problem solve and be solution based, which is fine. But we also want to be victims as well to a certain extent. And with that vulnerability, it allows you to really be exposed to areas to where you may have messed up at. You may have not gotten it right. And so with that vulnerability, with you, I just want to make it clear that in you being vulnerable, not all the time your response back to whoever you're talking to, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a close friend or your partner, spouse, whatever the case may be, family member, parents, siblings, not all the time what you'll receive back is something that's just like cookie cutter, real clear cut, or is something that you want to hear. Sometimes you need those people in your corner as well, to where it's just like, well, you had a part to play in this, my friend.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
And that's the one you need to keep close, Doc.
That's the one you need to keep close.
Oh,
don't weed them out. Keep them close beside you, because that level of challenge of your mental, can also help that growth progress.
If I've found out, man, and sorry, Josh, I know you got some more questions for us, man. My uncle, shout out to Benny, he has put me in a space of like, if I'm equally as complicit to the person I'm complaining about, and Benny gonna tell you how it is, whether you want to hear it or not. And I think that's one who I've kept to the fold, man. I've lost my father, but he in return, my uncle turned into my dad. So he has been the person that's always kept me grounded, where it's like, are you equally complicit in this situation?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like, you complaining about your wife, but did you what did you do to contribute to her doing that, man?
Valid.
He's always been that person, man.
Shout out to
big shout out to Unc, bro, because sometimes you need that person to tell you, like, yo, you the one that fucked this up. It ain't them, bro. It ain't them. It's you.
I hear you.
This one.
I'm glad that you brought that to me, getting it off your chest. But let's talk about the real. Let's talk about how complicit you was in this situation. It's not just about the person you're complaining about or the situation you're complaining about. Like,
I'm thinking about how people would even round that joint up. They'd be like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you."
right.
I mean,
I ain't even
you want me
gonna
to
hold
just
you,
listen,
bro.
or you want to hear?
Yeah, they'd be like, when you hear, I mean,
yeah.
Yo,
you know,
Sound like you was the problem.
Yeah. So in
I'm
other
gonna be
words,
real honest with you.
You want me to tell you the truth?
right? Or lie.
Or you want to lie. Right. Yo,
But that's
that's how
just me.
you know. Right. If you like it, I love it. Goddamn it.
Yeah,
like
that's
it,
the
I love
baby. Yeah. Oh man.
So we speaking about telling the truth. We'll slide our next question in there. Raising sons versus raising daughters. When it comes to being built to break upbringing, how do we think gender plays a part in that?
Man.
Two dads.
Yeah. You know what's funny, bro?
Yes, Doc and DB, man.
I'll let DB kick us off.
Man, the funny thing is, bro, I think it's so many. Man, I think so many people gonna hate me for this, but I feel like it's. I'm a mama's boy. I'm a mother's. My mom did everything. She kept everything. I mean, and when I hear
Same.
Zach explain Tanya or his mom, Miss Green, when I hear him explain Miss Green, I always think about my mom the same way. So that's why I think I met your mom maybe twice, Zach, and it was a blessing to even meet her and to know that one, she looked like my mom. I don't know if I even showed you a picture of my mom, but she looked
I've
like my
seen her.
mom, and she had
They look
characteristics like my mom. Yeah, and so to know some of the things that she did, I think those qualities is what I took over, right? I think times have changed so much, bro, since we were little. Cause my mom, I love her to pieces,
man.
but she was hard on us, bro. And to this day, I'll still tell you that I love my mama to pieces when I was young, and I don't think that goes anywhere, especially from the boys, right? So it's a lot of mama's boys, just in general. But I also think that the nurturing, the protection, stuff like that. Kids are so different these days, and I mean, in many ways, right? But I watched my daughter today get out of my truck, and her second day at kindergarten, when she closed the door, I taught her how to open the door, how to, I'm gonna unlock it, you do this, you close it. I literally, as I was driving, my daughter was walking on the sidewalk beside the truck. She didn't look at me once, and I ain't gonna hold you. I felt some kind of way. I'm like, bro, you're not even gonna look at me? Like, you walking by yourself, you're not even gonna look and see where daddy at? But at the same time, it kind of says so much to me, screen, bro, and I really wanted to shed a tear because I'm like, my daughter, she gonna be good. My daughter gonna be good, bro, because once she know I got her. I think that's big. And but I can't. I kind of joked about it. I told my wife, I was like, yo, like Nina did this, and this, and I was like, my oldest son and my youngest, I don't think they would have did that. So in a sense, it's like I see the difference, man. But at the same time, it's like it's not what I think I expected in a sense from her, and I think I kind of seen the opposite in terms of my expectation. So in a sense, bro, I don't know if necessarily gender does or doesn't, but I hope that they get to that point when they get a little older, like when they understand. But I also want to kind of remove the gender expectations from each person. So in a sense, it's okay that my boys might act a little different. But I really don't know, bro. I think I need to see this thing unfold a little bit more in a sense as they continue to get older. But I hope they see me as an example, in a sense too. But I will say too, my kids gonna see me break as well, just as much as they gonna see me, be strong. So I really hope they feel comfortable in seeing me break and know that they can do it too if they have to. Both my sons and my daughter.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Your kids are older than mine as well, so I think definitely more time will tell. But you can start to see some of the things unfold of like how my daughter is so much of a daddy's girl, and how my son, even though he's about to be a month old, how I can already tell just the gravitation towards mom. And at an early age, man, and it's a beautiful thing because you kind of feel a little way slightly, but then you think like, dang, I'm a mama's boy too. I can't even fault you. Hey, like
right.
Have that, with your mom. My dad to this day, he'll check me, man. If I ain't checking on moms, if I ain't talked to her, in a couple days, whatever. Hey, dude, hey, call your mother, man. Or growing up here, be like, hey, son, open the door for your mom, or do this for mom, or get out, pump gas for you. And to a point to where it's like, it was just second nature, you know what I mean, at that point in time. And so, I think like I plan on carrying those same characteristics or teaching my son those same things. I think with my daughter, she obviously her mom and her grandparents and people, or the women in her life, they are very much independent. They are high functional, high quality women. that she has in her life that she has to look forward to and grow up and, you know, just really be able to reflect and learn a lot from. And so at the end of the day, man, I think like more time will tell, but I can already see things unfolding to where it's just like I want to see where this is going. I do
Yeah.
want them to be able to see some of the things that dad do for them, but I also am not going to be naive to the fact of like, yo, a lot of this stuff is going to be hereditary. Like y'all are going to be some go-getters, man, because y'all parents are, and y'all are going to be positioned in a way to where, you know, y'all have a lot of great quality people in y'all corner to learn from. Starting with us though, I do want them to be able to see like, hey, look, you know, dad is going to do everything within his power, you know, to make sure y'all have a better life. I'm not going to fault y'all. And kind of going back to our previous episodes of like how old heads sometimes like, dang, like y'all surpassed what I was able to do. Like, you know, it feels some type of way. I'm not one of them. Like, I want y'all to go out and get it. I'm doing things so y'all can have a better tomorrow. And I want that to be the case for them. And so sometimes you will see me fall short. And I want to be real about that with my kids, man. And, you know, allow them to see that. But at the end of the day, man, just know that it's all rooted with love. And yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with that right now. So you do, I don't know, to your point, DB, I don't know if there's like a true gender differentiation, to be honest, but I think ultimately I want them to. It's tough, man. Even with saying that, you'll have kids that grow. I have two sisters. Like I'm a middle child. I'm a younger brother and an older brother, and I think honestly, like you can. It's crazy when you see kids, not really necessarily like my siblings, but you see people who grow up in the same household, had the same like upbringing and things like that, and turn out so different.
Totally different.
And so like even with the best efforts that I could give, I know that they're going to have influence outside of our household. And so all I can hope for is, you know, to teach them in a way to where like, even when they're out there, similar to what you said, like with baby girls, it's like, I ain't got to look back at dad. I know dad got me. Like, I know I'm going to be okay. I'm hopeful that those things that we instill, myself and my wife instill in our kids, man, you know, they know that it's rooted with love and they know that they always have home.
Absolutely. Hey, I ain't even going to tell y'all about how she told me the day before school that she didn't even need me to drop her off in the class.
Look, I'll walk it.
No word. Look, I said, "No, Daddy, walk out. You sure? I mean, because I'll go."
Hey, look, that's too far, baby girl.
Yeah, like don't play.
I appreciate both perspectives, man. I mean, I think Doc hit on it when he said, you know, your kid's a little older than mine, so it was a beautiful thing to see a father who's been doing it for a little bit longer, but both of y'all both have the same genders in your household, man. I don't have kids yet. But if I'm being honest, I'd like to raise a son and a daughter with the same foundation, right? Whether that's morals or principles, good character. I think the difference is I'd also have to keep it real with both of them. Like Doc said, you know, like that once you leave this house, society's going to treat them differently.
Man,
you know, my son might get the pressure to be this tough or never show weakness guy because of who his daddy is, you know, just saying, right? But my daughter might get judged for being too strong or too outspoken, also for who her father is. And it's like she might have those predisposed judgments placed upon her based upon the household that she comes from. So I think it's important to prepare them for the reality, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, you have to make sure that, you know, that both of them know that no matter what, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the podcast, is that you got to have good people around you.
Right.
The kind of people that who always say, we need around you no matter what, whether it's a boy or a girl. I want that child to be a kind person. I want my child to bring values and respect to others. And no matter what, you know, don't lose yourself trying to live up to society's expectations. Because Doc hit on it tremendously. Like, when you leave this house, what I taught you, what your mama taught you, grandma taught you, big mama, depending on what part of the world you're in, right? Society gonna say, hello.
Yeah, man. That's the scary part. Hey, John, what were you ready to say, John? I know you finna say something too.
I was trying to say, DB, what type of parent are you, man? Because I'm curious. Are you a BTA type parent or you a timeout type parent?
You know what's funny, bro?
Let's talk about it.
Johnny in the corner.
Man, you know, it's funny. It's funny because I've transitioned, and I think it's, in a sense, I feel like each phase was necessary at the time. now I don't. There's no belts, no whippings, no none of that. I mean, at least I think I've moved into that space. I haven't had a reason to do that anyway, as of lately. But I did have times where, my son he got a spanking before, and but I felt like it was necessary. But over time, bro, I mean, even for me, think back on our childhood. My mom used to happily grab the belt. She'll tell you, and she'll be your friend in between by the time she got home and in between that butt whipping, you think she forgot about it.
I had to go
and
get
after that, you still get it. Yeah, I had to get switches too. But
tree.
now, bro, I think I'm the type now, man, where I'm just like, one, I try to voice it, but I hate being overspoken and stuff like that. So I do get a little loud when I have to. But I speak now. I think I do more speaking, more teaching. I think Doc and Zach just hit on it. When you leave this house, right, that's what you got to get ready for. And I tell my son all the time, I'm like, yo, listen, life is going to either physically hit you or mentally hit you, and it's going to hurt. It's going to slap the shit out you, and it's really going to hurt. And that came back to the point of even like playing sports. Yeah, the ball hit my son in the face one day. And I'm like, all right, what you finna do?
Barbecue
at one point,
Yep.
at one point, your mom got laid off. She got smacked in the face with a ball. The same thing, except for it didn't physically hit her. It mentally hit her. In a sense, like even monetarily. But she ain't done. She got back up. She got another gig. She's still rolling. What you finna do? And I'm like, look, bro, the best player on that soccer field is right here on the side with me right now, talking, saying he don't want to get back out there. What you finna do? And we got back in. I'm like, bro, that's how life works, bro. The exact same way. So now, bro, for me, I throw perspectives out there, bro. I do more talking now than anything, and I take electronics. That's what I do. Goddamn.
So you would say that
Get away, it hurt.
old school.
Give me that
the
phone,
old
boy.
school way- The old school way is not the new way.
It's not. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I care about this household, and that's it. And no offense to anybody else, but I don't think that's our way anymore. In terms of like doing that, I think you do whatever is necessary as a parent, and I'm gonna respect it. But as long as it's in your crib, cool, do your thing. But if it's a little extra and I see it, I'm gonna have to be like, hey, yo, pops, like, all right, relax. I'll pay for the candy that you might have put in his pocket. Damn.
Right.
But I think that's just the old way, bro. And some people say, look, it helped me. I turned out all right.
Right.
But did you? Like, even me. I mean, I feel like everybody got mental problems, bro.
Yeah.
And so
PTSD somewhere.
So yeah. So did it really? In a sense. So I don't think the old way is fully what we need. We don't need to have nobody going outside picking their switches no more, bro.
Yeah,
That's abuse today.
It was abuse then.
It was abuse then. We were just scared to snitch. We didn't know who CPS was and all that.
Yeah, but you turned out all right though.
At least, yeah, for the most part. I think if people look on the outside, hell yeah, I turned out all right. I got a family. Yeah. I got a house, a nice whip, got a decent job.
The main thing in today's time as parents, and I know I'm gonna do the same thing whenever I have a child. If you take that tablet, if you take that cell phone, they're done. They're done.
Cook.
Absolutely. They're done. You know what I'm saying? You take that PlayStation 5, they're done. They ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Man, you take my PlayStation 5. Today.
No, man. What? Wait a minute.
Right.
Take my controller.
Let me tell you something.
Where your mom at?
Until you do right by me.
No, for real.
No, but you know what's funny, Josh and Zach? I know y'all not fathers yet, man. I'm actually curious to know what are your thoughts on that, in terms of future state, maybe.
I'm just like I want to raise my child to just certain mannerisms. When you walk, you don't speak unless you're spoken to, in a sense. But if you do see somebody, say hello, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Mom, I'm gonna say something. You do something, yes ma'am. I'm 32 years old.
Today, yeah.
My dad said yes sir. You know what I'm saying? I still might say something under my breath, but I'm still gonna say yes sir, no sir. That's just what I've been instilled to do. Just looking out for older people, because I feel like kids nowadays, they just don't respect elderly people. They just don't. A child should be seen and not heard. I still agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so scary though, bro. But my bad.
No, go ahead.
That's scary, bro.
I just think because I'm old school, man. My mom will be 70 years old next year.
I feel that. I would say I think that's where your spouse may come in. So I think just be respectful of like how your spouse, because your spouse will choose you because of who you are, right? So hopefully they don't try to change too much. But I think in a sense, I think that might Yeah.
Yep. What's crazy, man. You hit on what I was gonna actually tap into. Like my spouse, my wife. I'm a one and done. I ain't leaving my wife unless they take me out here on a gurney. You feel me?
Right.
So I was brought up old school way too. I talked about how great Tanya was, and she is great. But man, she put belt to ass.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we made a mistake, or you was gonna feel it, not know it.
Yeah.
You
Right,
was gonna
right.
feel it. So like for a long time, and probably a little bit of me probably still has that in me. But my wife, man, she ain't come from a household of belt to nothing. Her mom,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law, beautiful, great woman, man. Where I feel like, she may have talked a little bit more. She may have taken that approach to like, I want you to hear what I'm saying. So I think with the both of us, man, we'll have a combination of both. We'll have to reach that medium. I for one, don't feel like a child should be beat. So when I say belt to ass, it wasn't abuse. You know what I mean? I come from a generation where like the word abuse, you knew what abuse was. Now it's
Right.
like it's a gray area.
Yeah,
It's a gray
lot of
area, man.
nuance,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
nuances there. It's a lot of things where someone else may project their beliefs on you and may say you abusing your child. But it's like if I want to grab them and I hold them, you understand what I'm saying? I need to make sure that you hear what I'm saying, son.
Right.
Some guys
Yeah.
might be saying that put them in the space of that being an abuse. So I feel like 100% what Derek said, like you and your spouse need to have that conversation in regards to like how will we discipline our children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then take that
That's
and
an
do your
important
little
conversation,
homework.
man.
Have that
Yeah.
important conversation. Just like finances is an important conversation, but I don't want to go off on another tangent. But
Yeah.
like that aspect of like when we do have children, when they do wrong, what will we do? Because that's important.
Right. It's very important, bro. Yeah, I think you hit on something that's so heavy is that those are kind of conversations you have to have in terms of like how are we going to punish our kids in a sense, or I don't even want to say punish.
Yeah.
I can't think of the proper
Discipline.
word.
Discipline.
Yeah, how are we going to discipline our kids? When they act out in school, at home, when they
Right.
and
It's
kind of
very
go from
situational,
there. So,
in my opinion, and
Absolutely.
sometimes it calls for. I don't. Yes, we're in different times, and I think that we hit on that really, really well. So I'm not gonna go too deep into that aspect of it, but some of those traditions, not even just in this conversation, but in general, some of these traditions, man, it needs to be implemented in today's society.
That's correct.
Whether it's
That's
in
correct.
relationships, wherever else, man, it's essential. We talked about relationships in other episodes, so where it's just like, man, right now it's a lot of situationships. It's not really relationships, man, and it's an expectation,
Right.
of like a lot of like receiving, but no giving. Is no 100%, coming in. It's like, yo, I'm gonna put one foot in and I'm gonna put one foot out just in case, I need to protect myself. And back then it's just like, yo, I know what Clarence got going. I know what Claude got going on. But
Claude?
hey, he's bringing.
Cletus?
You feel me? But I know what we got this under control because I know his role and I know my role. And not to say
Absolutely.
it's right or wrong, but I'm just, giving that. So when we talk about like kids and upbringings and things like that too, I think it's some traditions that should transfer over. At least in me and my household, we do believe in belt to ass. Not at this point in time. We try to like educate as much as possible, but
Yeah.
if it calls for it, just depending on, that's why I said situational. If it calls for it, I'm not going to shy away from it just for the simple fact of like, yo, like it, this will happen so you can learn. After that, we'll still have a conversation, and I'm gonna let
Right.
you know exactly why it ended up being what it was. So yeah,
Absolutely, bro. That's heavy. Yeah, I think that even with the the foundation of like the kids and stuff like that, and I know the topic itself is like the pressure to be unbreakable, right? I think this is so critical because of that. Like, and even thinking about the not the punishment, who said it, but discipline. That's also another key thing in terms of like built to break and things like that too. So I think even rounding out, that shit starts with our childhood first in terms of the growth and things like that. But look, another unspoken rule that kind of comes to mind to me is like standing on business. So if somebody has your word, it's essentially a bonding contract. But with that mentality, let's talk about how that creates additional pressure for us. So Doc, I'm actually curious to know like your thoughts on that piece.
yeah, man. Again, as we talked about upbringings and things of the sort, that was one of the things. My father definitely instilled in us. Let your word be your bond, man. And I think like he embodied that, in everything that he did. If he told us like, yo, I'm gonna get you that bread to go on that trip, or I'm gonna get you that whatever so you can, have provision to do whatever it was that we asked for. I knew he was through, come hella high waters, it was gonna happen, or if it was like, you know what, man, I got a lot going on, but I know your game is 3 hours away from my home, or your homeschool, y'all playing away, but I'm gonna make it happen. And I knew like when
Word.
the game started, we warming up, we run out, and I look in the stands, man, he was there. And so like that in itself, to me, really hit home. And I think like I just kind of like embodied that as I grew up into adulthood as well. And sometimes you fall short, right, man? As we go into like the pressures of it all and things like that, sometimes you. And if my wife would tell me too, like sometimes, man, you just speak on things a little too fast. You don't really process things a little bit or enough before you give somebody the green light that you're gonna do things. And I agree to that, because for me, I'm just like, I feel like I got the capacity to do this. Hey, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, you help me move Saturday? I got you. I don't even think about it. I got you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there. And then like when things unfold, you put the pressure on yourself because you don't know how the week is gonna go, but you had a busy week. You just was, mentally preparing yourself for a week that you was about to endure, to where you don't know what's gonna happen, but that could change the trajectory of like your whole outlook on what your weekend will look like. Or that's just one example, but you can plug in whatever's in that blank area. But that I think in itself adds a lot of pressure. But I think what we'll consider to be like a champagne problem, to have. Because I think as a man, if I'm telling you like I got you, if I'm telling you like, man, don't even worry about it, it's done, I feel like that's one of those unspoken rules, man, to where it's just like you really got to live out. And I do plan on teaching my son the same thing, by acting out what I say and practicing what I preach. If I'm gonna be like, yo, pops is gonna pick you up from school, not mom's today, I'm gonna be there. If I'm gonna be at your
Right.
game, if I say I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be there. And so, it's definitely one of those traditional things like we talked about. That I feel like our fathers growing up, our uncles and things like that, lived out. You'll see some too, to where it's just like, man, this joke ain't about to do that. He say he gonna
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
He ain't about to do that, bro. You can weed those individuals out, but those individuals who really stood on business and really was there in a sense of like, yo, by his word, I knew everything was going to come to pass. I really respected, those individuals to a high degree. And I came past a lot of individuals, in my lifetime, that lived that action out. And I try to live that out as well, man. But I do think that it comes with, some boundaries as you hit different milestones of life. When you are a married man at that point in time, sometimes before you give that word, you got to think about it a little bit more, man, and consult.
Yep.
Sometimes,
Yep.
when you're a parent, you gotta be more strategic about how, before you give that word and make it solid. And so I think that's the only thing right now that I would say that I'm still striving for. But if I tell you, man, it's done, but I think you also have to consider who it impacts, because it's no longer just you. Right
Yeah.
now, like my wife is
Absolutely.
involved, and what energy I'm giving to you, I'm taking away from my family. And so
Right.
now you have to
Yes.
think about it in a different way and strategize in it and make them inclusive in the process as well. Hey, baby, look, such and such, want to da 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 da. And some people think that's weaker. Like, man, you gotta, nah, bro. Like that's what it entails when you want a healthy, strong relationship. Like
I
you
gotta check
have
with my
to.
wife.
Hey, I got to get my permission slip signed. That's what I say now. I got to get my permission slip signed, bro, because at the end of the day, like, she's a part of that process. My kids are a part of that
Right.
process. And, every time dad is away, that could be something I'm doing with them. Even if it's us just lounging around, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't have to be going anywhere on a trip or whatever the case may be. So I think now, saying all that to say, now I have to be a little bit more strategic, include my family, make them a little bit more inclusive, when I give my word. But my word is still bond. And I think like that's
Absolutely.
something that every man should have in their repertoire.
Yeah, man. Every yes takes away something from you. Every
Yes.
single
correct.
yes
Yes.
Yeah.
takes away something from you. I'm gonna actually pass it to somebody else to answer that question or speak on it. I'll come back on it on the back end.
Just like you said, DB, standing on business is standing on business. That's exactly what it is. Your word is your bond. We was taught that at an early age.
Yeah.
You know, words are powerful. If you tell somebody that you're gonna do something, do it. You know, ability. If you say you're gonna help your brother or your friend move, or you're gonna do something for somebody, or you're gonna pick somebody up, be that reliable person. Be a man of your word. That's just as simple as that.
I mean, we've all said it, you know, standing on business is true to your word, standing up for what you feel is right in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of people forget that there has to be tact with that. Like Doc sort of tapped on it. He hinted on it. You know, he said the permission slip aspect of it. But you still need the timing and you still need the tone when you stand on business. I like to call it like the double T's, tone and tact. So when you stand on business, you still need to carry yourself with wisdom, knowing that how you deliver that message verbally or non-verbally.
Yes.
It's a part of manhood too. In a part of manhood, in aspects of relationships and aspects of showing up for individuals, we talked about the cup realm of things. So you pour into your cup into your family, but there's also mothers, fathers, friends, all these people. So having that tone and that tactfulness, keeping those double T's when you're delivering that standing on business, man, because some people like to say standing on business when they're really crashing out. Or they're really just overcommitting, really overextending, putting yourself in a space of, I'm giving what I don't even got.
Yep.
Hey,
standing on business
absolutely.
And standing on nothing.
Hey, you on it now, brother. Yeah, that's exactly what
I think, man, I feel like I don't expect anything from anybody, but when somebody tell me they're gonna do something, it gotta come with some kind of caveat, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly mean, and I mean wholeheartedly mean that I don't expect anything from anybody, bro. And I say that just the only person I expect anything from is me. I mean, and not even my spouse, not even my wife, and and respectfully, because some days somebody gonna be tired. Some days I may have to step in and do the norm, and but even then, some days you might have to hit the movie theater by yourself after you might have set something up, or you might have to hit dinner by yourself. I don't expect anything from anybody, but when somebody tells me that they're gonna do something, bro, I do kind of gauge it. And I'm like, all right, cool. If it's the second time, if it's somebody that's fresh, somebody new, I ain't really got nothing invested anyway.
Right.
I'll probably never reach out to this person again.
Right.
But I even hit them with like, yo, look, you don't have to do this. You don't have to, because I want you to know you don't have to have. I'm not expecting anything from you, and I appreciate it. But me personally, I feel like I am a trustworthy person. I mean, if I say that I'm gonna do something, I can almost guarantee you that I'm gonna do it. If I genuinely forgot, I will own that issue. I will own the fact that I didn't show up or that I can't show up. I'll probably call you before the instance happens. I'm so punctual, bro, in terms of time. I like to be early. If I'm on time or late, I'm not. I even hit it. The whole vibe hit different. So I need to be on time. I need to be a little early. And I'm gonna definitely try my best to keep my word. And if I don't, you will hear from me.
Right.
And I think for me, I kind of look at people the same way in a sense. Again, as much as I don't expect anything from anybody, I still like to have like-minded people around.
For sure.
So for me, man, I think that your word is definitely bond. I mean, standing on that business is definitely very critical, at least to me, in a sense. And but yeah, I agree. Spoken rule for sure, man. And I recommend that we find those people that can say that they're gonna do something and they actually do it. I don't think it's healthy to even have those types of people around, low key. And that's just my perspective. Might be my it might just be subjective to me and my life and how I treat it. But I don't want that around me in a sense. Even though I don't expect anything from anybody. Look, man, I feel like this conversation can definitely continue to go. I think this has been some critical topics and questions today. So, Josh, man, I appreciate you for bringing these forward today, brother.
Sure, no problem.
100%.
Absolutely.
Look, I know again. Typically, I usually end the sessions off with what mic check means to me. I mean, this space means it holds near and dear to me. I love this space. I love connecting with my brothers, and either on camera, off the camera. I just like chatting with these dudes, man. Some of these questions that we have, it's funny how some of these we actually turn into conversations that we've either had or have on a phone call. But all in all, I want to kind of pass it over to my brother Zach and see what this table means to him specifically. What this mini conversation means to Zach. So Zach, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to you, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I think minute conversation to me is exactly what it is. It's a space where men can come and have conversations where sometimes we talk about vulnerability, right? So sometimes you can come and you can be vulnerable in this space. It's a space where I don't have to show up in any realm of that being a provider, whether that being an overachiever, whether that being a person that somebody's leaning on. But this is a space where I can tap off so many different things that I might be dealing with internally with my brothers, right? We talked about like, oh, you going through that too? And sometimes that's all you really need to realize that like it's not just me, right? It's not just the world giving me so many negative things or giving me so many roadblocks. So minute conversation is a space for me where it means to me where I can come and I can unload, or I can come and listen, because sometimes I don't need to say something. I can hear what Doc is saying and it can get me through the week. I can hear what Derek is saying and it can put me in a space of appreciating what I do have. I can hear what Josh is saying, or it can put me in a space of saying it's not that bad for what I'm going through. But I say that to all that say sometimes it might be that bad. And this table is where I can unpack it.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, man.
Respect.
Absolutely, bro.
Oh yeah.
Hey, look, this is another one, man. This is another episode. It was a blast to just get this one going, man. It's probably our longest one.
Yeah.
And but I think the quality and the oomph that we brought towards this one definitely hit a little different, because we spoke from our perspectives. We spoke about some things that we believe in and some things that that are even future states, coming from Josh and Zach about the children. So, look, this was critical, man. I hope this something that y'all can take in and kind of learn from, pull it into your own, and you got your own perspectives, your own thoughts. Honestly, we would love to hear them too. So if you willing, throw some comments below the video. Hit the subscribe button, check in with us, reach out to us for any questions as well. But look, once again, we go ahead and close out. And again, this is Mike Check, fellas.
Sir, take care,
Mike
y'all.
check.
Appreciate it.
Check in with us.